Namaste to all. Let us commence this discourse by offering prayers at the holy feet of Bhagwan Ganesha, who is the destroyer of obstacles. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Bhagwan Ganesha, please help us conduct this discourse on spiritual practice without any obstacles. This is a humble prayer at your holy feet. We will also offer our prayers at the holy feet of our Gurudev and founder of Sanatan Sanstha, Paratpar Guru, Dr. Jayant Athawale. Today, we are starting with the second discourse of online series on spiritual practice. On behalf of Sanatan Sanstha, I, Shri Bharat Prabhu, would like to welcome all of you to this discourse. Last week, we understood the importance of spirituality and the upcoming adverse times. We also understood the importance of chanting the name of Bhagwan Dattatreya. In today's lecture, we will try to understand the concept of happiness, sorrow, importance of chanting our Kuldevta's name, which is our family deity, and the law of karma, which is action, and generally why all of us experience 25% of happiness and 75% of sorrow in human life. Now, let us look at the first topic, which is happiness and unhappiness. So in this, we will be looking at the nature of happiness and unhappiness. Each of us has experienced moments of happiness and unhappiness. Although everyone struggles for happiness, most of the time we experience that we are stuck in sorrow. Normally, in the present times, a human being experiences happiness 25% of the time and unhappiness at mostly 75% of the time. Most of us do not know how to gain happiness. Hence, everyone tries to find happiness as well as avoid suffering through their five senses, mind and intellect, even though it is temporary. This means that a person tries to eat his or her favorite dish, tries to go on a holiday, tries to pursue different hobbies, etc., all in order to gain happiness and also to avoid sorrow at the same time. A person opts to take medicines to combat disease, repair a TV set, etc., to avoid sorrow, but even this does not bring permanent happiness. A famous saint from Maharashtra, Saint Tukaram Maharaj, had perfectly said, "Sorrow is like a mountain, whereas happiness is like a mustard seed." In this context, Swami Vivekananda has also said that happiness and sorrow are the two sides of the same coin. Everybody wants only happiness, but happiness comes with a cloud of sorrow. So now let us look at the reasons behind happiness and unhappiness. We all have the innate desire to become one with the omnipresent God from whom we have been created. So now we will see what are the different reasons behind happiness, unhappiness and the remedies for it. There are physical, psychological and spiritual reasons behind happiness and unhappiness. Physical sorrow is the sorrow caused due to a physical disease. For example, when someone cheats us or insults us, we feel bad. This is psychological sorrow or grief. When a person tries hard to achieve something but faces failure continuously, for example, failure to get a promotion, unsuccessful in getting married, etc., such incidents bring sorrow in our life. But what we do not understand is that they are spiritual in nature. So now, this brings us to the most important part of this topic, which is, now that we know what causes unhappiness, what is the remedy for it? So now that we have realized that the reason behind sorrow is spiritual in nature, then the remedial measures should also be spiritual. How can we identify with our intellect that the reason behind sorrow is spiritual? The answer to this is that with the help of certain symptoms. By looking at these symptoms, we can make out or predict if the cause is spiritual in nature. For example, we see in some families that most of the family members are in distress. The son is mentally retarded, or the second son got divorced within 10 days of his marital life. The third one did not complete his education, or the daughter in the family is highly educated, cultured, good looking, even has a highly paid salary, but she is still not getting married due to different reasons. Due to these problems in the family, the mother and the father are quite disturbed and under stress. In short, what we see is everybody in the family is in grief. On trying hard but always being unsuccessful, all of such incidents reveals spiritual distress. In short, we can say that the reasons behind sorrow, which cannot be analyzed with the intellect, could be spiritual in nature. Therefore, the real remedy for this is to do sadhana, which is spiritual practice. So to understand spiritual practice, let us first try to understand two types of sadhana, which are sakam and nishkam sadhana. Dharma tells us that the ultimate aim of human life is final liberation. One should perform spiritual practice every day for at least 2 to 3 hours to achieve final liberation. We can do this with the help of the body, mind, and intellect. There are two types of sadhana, as we mentioned earlier, which is sakam sadhana and the other is nishkam sadhana. Making efforts to merge with the God principle is called sadhana. When sadhana, which is spiritual practice, is done with expectations, it is called sakam sadhana. For example, sadhana done for the well-being of the family, for a happy marital life, etc. Sadhana done without expectations is called nishkam sadhana. With the help of sakam sadhana, expectations are fulfilled, and by nishkam sadhana, spiritual progress takes place along with fulfillment of desires. However, both are fulfilled only by God's promise, which is God has assured to fulfill the wishes of his devotee, that is his bhakt. A person performing sakam sadhana will be benefited materialistically, but God realization may not take place. The goal of human life is final liberation. If sadhana is performed without any expectations, it will lead to the attainment of moksha, which is final liberation. Now, we will look at the next interesting topic, the principles of karma and its fruits, which means results. There are two principles that are described in Hinduism. The first is the principle of karma or action. The other one is that of rebirth. The principle of karma states that an individual has to bear the fruits of each and every karma that he does. If he does good deeds, meaning good karma, he gets merit or punya. And if he commits bad deeds, he has to face the negative consequences of the deed and incur sin, which is papa. One accumulates merit by doing things like taking care of one's parents, donating to a temple, etc. On the contrary, one accumulates demerits by doing things like stealing, telling lies, hurting others by their words, etc. One gets to enjoy happiness due to the accumulated merits, whereas one has to face sorrow due to the accumulated demerits. Now let us take the case of a person who has committed a theft, and let us say he has escaped without getting caught. He may feel he has gone scot-free in the materialistic world, but he can never escape punishment in the court of God. There is a log maintained by God, which captures all the good and bad things which we have done. These include all our thoughts, words, and actions. This log is maintained by God for all individuals. So now, let us look at another interesting topic: the intention behind an action and the fruits of an action. What we have to remember here is that the fruits of the action are also dependent on the intentions behind it. So the fruits of an action are dependent on the intentions behind it. So let us try to understand this with an example. A criminal chopping off the leg of a person is far different from a surgeon chopping off the leg of a patient. Even though the action is the same, the intentions are very different. A criminal does it with the intention of hurting the person, whereas a surgeon does it for helping the patient recover from a medical condition. Now what about Prarabdha, which is destiny, and Kriyaman Karma, which is our willful action? Let us look into this aspect. Prarabdha accounts for 65%, and willful action, which is our Kriyaman Karma, accounts for 35% of all incidents in Kali Yuga. Hindu Dharma believes in rebirth. An individual needs to face the merits or demerits for all of his actions. It could be either in the current birth or in the next one. Usually, an individual faces the fruits of his actions committed in the previous birth in this birth. The fruits of actions from previous births is what we call as Prarabdha. It is more commonly known as fate. Science of spirituality states that 65% of the incidents that an individual faces in birth are based on Prarabdha, and the remaining 35% are left to the individual's willful actions and are totally under the control of the individual. This means that 65% of the incidents that we face in our lifetime are the fruits of our actions done in previous births. Let us look at this with an example. Suppose there are two students graduating with the same grades. Both may not get a job at the same time. One of them may get a job easily, while the other may have to struggle. Using another example, we can say that out of twin siblings, one could be very healthy, while the other could be weak. Is it not? So, we would have seen a lot of such examples. But modern day science cannot explain the reason behind all of these. Why does an individual have to experience sorrow when he is spending his entire life in the pursuit of happiness? The answer to this can only be given by the science of spirituality. The reason for a person experiencing happiness or sorrow in a birth is attributed to the good or bad deeds that he has committed in his previous birth. So now, let us come to the importance of sadhana. How can sadhana help us? Let us look at how sadhana benefits us. Sadhana makes Prarabdha, which is destiny. Sadhana makes Prarabdha, which is destiny, bearable for an individual. One may get perplexed, thinking, what is the benefit of doing sadhana? If all of our events of our lives are governed by Prarabdha, well, the answer to that is that an individual has to face and exhaust his destiny at any cost. By doing sadhana, the Prarabdha, which is destiny, becomes bearable for an individual. While doing surgery, a patient is given anesthesia so that the patient does not feel the pain. In the same manner, doing sadhana, which is spiritual practice, gives the strength to face the Prarabdha, which is destiny, and helps us in facing the difficult situation calmly. Slowly, such difficulties cease to appear like difficulties. This is due to the strength derived from sadhana. Additionally, an individual can get to experience how God takes care of his devotees, even when the devotee is stuck in many difficulties. A very good example of this is Saint Mirabai. She belonged to a royal family. She was an ardent devotee of Bhagwan Krishna right from her childhood. Her in-laws did not favor her devotion to Bhagwan Krishna, and they tried very hard to kill her. They even tried to poison her. But due to her devotion, the poison did not have any effect on her. This is a great example illustrating how God makes the Prarabdha, which is destiny, bearable or reduces the severity of the Prarabdha for an individual who has spiritual strength and devotion. Another thing to also remember is that we still have 30% of our Kriyaman, which is our willful actions, which can help us overcome the Prarabdha, which is destiny. Now, let us understand why sadhana is required for an individual to get liberated from the cycle of birth and death. Just as attending school is necessary for an individual to get educated, so also one should do spiritual practice if one has to make progress in spirituality. A soul keeps taking birth repeatedly till it makes spiritual progress and attains liberation. Now at this point, everyone may get a doubt. Will an individual who keeps doing good deeds but does not undertake any spiritual practice in his lifetime get liberation? Well, the answer to this is no. The result of good deeds done by an individual take him to heaven. He will remain in heaven till the positive effect of the good deeds last, following which he will have to take birth again on earth to face and exhaust the remaining part of his Prarabdha. A person who commits a sin makes a decline in his spiritual quotient, and he will not get a human birth immediately. On the contrary, he has to take 84 lakh births through the form of a worm, animal, bird, tree, etc. Thus the soul gets caught in a continuous cycle of birth and death, in case he does not undertake spiritual practice. So now we may be wondering as to why does one keep taking birth, or why does rebirth happen? So let us try to answer this doubt. So one gets human birth for two reasons. One, to face and exhaust the Prarabdha, which is destiny, and two, to do spiritual practice with the aim of getting liberation and finally getting liberated itself from the cycle of birth and death. But unfortunately, many do not make the necessary efforts to achieve this. Ironically, most of us are not even aware of this aspect of human birth, and we get entangled in this materialistic world. We get distracted by houses, jobs, cars, wealth, etc. So when does one do good spiritual practice? So when he does spiritual practice, his Prarabdha, which is destiny, gets wiped off, and he gets liberated from the cycle of birth and death. Due to the strength derived from the practice of spirituality, and also due to the blessings of saints, an individual who does spiritual practice gets a place in the higher regions of heaven, that is Maharlok, Janalok, Tapalok and Satyalok. Spiritual practice can be continued from these regions and one can attain moksha. That is why spiritual practice is of utmost importance. So even if one does not believe in rebirth or the laws of karma, or even if one is not interested or desirous of it, he definitely cannot escape it. From the discussion so far, we have understood that most of the happiness and unhappiness that we face are due to the effects of our karma from previous births. If one has to go beyond good and bad deeds and attain moksha, the spiritual practice. Now, let us try to understand one important aspect of spiritual practice relevant to the current time. In Kali Yuga, chanting is the prescribed spiritual practice. It has been observed that many people chant the name of the deity which they like or in the manner which they feel is right. None of this chanting gets wasted, so it is fine. But to chant the name of the deity you like, as per the current time, it is required to chant the name of a Kuldevta. So chanting as per our own mind may lead less benefits. So what is the importance of chanting the Kuldevata's name? The answer is simple. Chanting the name of Kuldevata helps in spiritual progress. God chooses each individual to be born in that particular family or kula, on whose family deity he needs to worship so as to make spiritual progress. That deity of the family, kula, is known as the family deity, which is Kuldevta. The word Kuldevta is a combination of two words, Kula and Devata. The family deity is Kuldevta. Worshipping of the family deity activates the Kundalini Shakti, which is spiritual energy in the Muladhara chakra, which initiates the spiritual progress. So, what are the benefits of chanting the Kuldevata's name? Well, chanting the family deity's name benefits the seeker with all the godly principles in the universe. When the subtle body has imbibed all the principles in the universe, spiritual practice is said to be complete. Chanting the name of deities like Vishnu, Shiva, Ganapati, etc. helps in increasing that particular godly principle. But to attract all the godly principles in the universe and to increase it by 30% can be attained only by Kuldevata chanting. It is like taking vitamin A, B, C, D, etc. as a supplement to reduce the deficiency of the vitamins in the body. Just like a doctor who prescribes multivitamins for any of the deficiencies, similarly, the family deity's name is like a general tonic which increases the godly principles which we are deficient in. So the family deity or the Kuldevata is the presiding deity of the Prithvi Tattva or the earth element. Hence, if we begin our spiritual practice, which is sadhana, with the worship of this deity, we do not face any kind of distress. So suppose one has both Kuladev and a Kuladevi, then chanting the Kuladevi's name is more suitable. We can understand this by an example. Children always reach out to their mother first because she gives in to their demands easily. Similarly, it is easier to appease the Kuladevi. So now let us learn how to chant the family deity's name. The family deity's name should be chanted by prefixing Shri followed by the dative case Chaturthi Pratyaya and concluding it with Namaha. For example, if the family deity is Bhavani Devi, then one should chant Shri Bhavani Devyai Namaha. If the family deity is Renuka Devi, one should chant Shri Renuka Devyai Namaha. So if one has only a Kuladev, then prefix Shri before the deity's name, followed by the dative case, Chaturthi Pratyaya, and conclude it with Namaha. For example, if the family deity is Lord Venkatesha, then chant Shri Venkateshaya Namaha. Similarly, if the Kuladev is Shri Ganesh, then chant Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Some of us may not be aware of who our Kuladevata is. So what can be done? Well, in this case, one can chant Shri Kuladevatayai Namaha. Many have had spiritual experiences just by chanting this Namjap with faith. The seeker may meet someone who guides him to the family deity. Marriage is considered to be a woman's rebirth. Hence, after marriage, a woman should chant the name of the family deity of the in-laws. Daily, one should chant the name of our Kuladevi for at least 1 to 2 hours. Or we can try to chant continuously in our mind. We can do this while doing our daily routines. As we have told in our earlier pravachans, which is lectures, chanting has no restriction of time, place, saucha sauch, or soyer sutak, which is the period of abstention following birth or death in the family. So this chanting can be done as per our time, that is by sitting in one place. This chanting can be done anytime, anywhere, or along with other day-to-day activities like cooking, watching TV, mobile, traveling, etc. So basically, it should be done as and when possible. So finally, in spirituality, completeness can be achieved only by chanting. To unite with the infinite godly principle, which is Parameshwar, one has to do spiritual practice, which is sadhana, continuously, that is 24 hours. One cannot study the Vedas and Upanishads as in Jnana Yoga. Do all the Dhyan Dharana, meditation, Tratak and Pranayam as in Karma Yoga. Or worship deities and do bhajan and kirtan as per Bhakti Yoga for all 24 hours. But instead, what we can do is certainly chant for 24 hours continuously and achieve completeness. Hence, chanting is considered as one of the best forms of spiritual practice. So let us all try to practice the chanting the name of the Kuladevi with immense devotion and concentration from this week. Namaskar. Apologies for the technical delay. So now we will be moving to the next topic, which is the main topic, and Mrs. Shipra Juvekar will be guiding us further on this topic. Mrs. Shipra has been doing spiritual practice for the past 10 years under the guidance of Sanatan Sanstha. Hence, I kindly request Mrs. Shipra ji to guide us further on this subject.
Gratitude the Holy Feet of Sri Durga Devi, Sri Krishna Ji, and also at the obedience at the Holy Feet of Ma Durga, and pray with such principle, which is active 1000 times more in Navratri. Namaskar to all, which we have learned in our previous lecture. Also, which we had after we commenced the chanting of Sri Gurudev Datta last week. Spiritually is science of action and important is given to putting into practice what we have learned. The sweetness of sugar, however explained, cannot be understood unless it is tasted. In spirituality, it is important. Hence, our faith to attain knowledge. In the last lecture, we tried to understand the importance of chanting vessels and clearing our ancestral debt, that is, spiritual. And we started chanting this Nam. You all must have got different experiences while doing this chant. Just felt that ancestors are blessing experience while doing chanting, then you can please unmute your mic. Explanation of all these experiences. So you may ask questions, or you may first let us know. Please share your experiences about Sri Gurudev Datta chant. How you felt? What experience you have got in the last week? Namaskar. Am I audible to all? You may please share your experiences about Sri Gurudev Datta chant. Person named John from Australia, chanting Sri Gurudev Datta, was he 19 years of age. So despite going to every type of doctors, skin specialists, and eczema was not getting cured at all. So he had tried all the patches, every kind homeopathy and all. Mr. Sean Clark, he told John about chanting Sri Gurudev Datta, and maybe this incurable eczema might be due to departed ancestors. So since John was Christian and he does not have any background of Hindu deities and he was not knowing anything about it, but he tried to chant Sri Gurudev Datta, and to utmost surprise, On 11th of July, and later on, three students said that this is really amazing and very, surprising that I have tried all medicines, the problem was not cured. And when I tried chanting Sri Gurudev, it was cured. So this was ancestral problem. The problem. So this was the experience which was shared by John, and you can also, it has time, then you can also log into our website, that is also which is also. So if such type of come to know about many one more experience I want to share about one lady. She's from Yaval district also. When the lockdown was not there, we were conducting satsang personally and there many of the women and when they were coming for the satsang. After that, one lady, which is not educated at all, she was doing household work in others' homes. Means she was very poor. So we told her about things, and since she was very distressed, her husband was drinking all the time, and he was hitting her, and many problems she was having. Stress. Somehow she was able to do only three Gurudev camp for 4 weeks. She was very happy in the satsang. So we asked her what happened. Now you're looking very happy. They told that after doing Sri Gurudev Datta for 4 weeks, a tremendous change in her husband has been there, and her husband who was drinking every day now is not. He has put it. His drinking problem. So she was very amazed to because her husband was due to departed drinking and smoking and all. Amazing. This was all enough learn another thing that spirituality is kind of phenomenon. Those who are trying from YouTube, you can also put your access in the YouTube. If you have any questions, then you can ask also.
Namaskar. Uh, Thank you, Mrs. Shipraji. Before we start asking questions, I would like to inform our viewers of a few guidelines when asking questions. Those of you who are connected via FCC can unmute yourselves and ask your questions. Kindly take care that there are not too many mics unmuted at the same time. If someone else is speaking, kindly mute your mics. When one attendee is asking a question, we kindly request the others to mute your mics. We will definitely try to answer everyone's doubts. Those of our viewers connected via YouTube can put your queries in the chat box. We will certainly answer those questions as well. Before we start, I would like to once again request our viewers who are connected on YouTube to please type in your name, contact number, and district in the chat box. It will help us to get in touch with you. So this session is now open for question and answers. Attendees can ask their doubts and we will try our best to solve them.
All participants are muted and they can unmute themselves.
Namaskar. This session is now open for our questions. So if anyone has any doubt, they can kindly ask. Namaskar, Kshipraji. Is my voice audible?
Yes, Sachin, you're audible very nicely.
Huh. So we have a question from one of our viewers from YouTube. How can we know who is a Kula Devata? Mr. C.S. Chakravarti is curious to know. Kindly guide us.
Ji. First of all, I would like to say that Mr. Chakravarti ji, your question is very much practical. So if we we can know about our whole data by our efficiency, and also when there is dharma, then you notice that Sapro Namaha. Uh, and they say like this. So they also listen to this. And one more thing I want to add is that if you don't know, Shri Kula very much experienced by many people. And somehow and someone come and tell us how Kuldevta. This is that would be spiritual experience also. So if you don't know the name of Kuldevta, doesn't matter at all. You can
Namaskar. Is my voice audible to our viewers? Namaskar. Uh, in case for those who did not be able to understand what Mrs. Shipra said, she basically said that we can come to know how who our Kuladevata is by asking our forefathers or our family members, or during the marriage ceremony, or during the Mundan ceremony in the family. During these times, the Devata is worshipped. So through these methods, we can come to know the name of our Kuladevata. Yes, Shipraji, we can hear you now. हाँ क्षिप्रा जी धन्यवाद. So if any of our viewers have any more questions, they can still ask. Yes, sir. You are audible. Yes, sir. Namaskar, Shankar ji. Your voice is audible, sir. Kindly ask your question. Yes, sir. You can ask your question.
See, for the sadhana, I am chanting Sai Baba, Sri Satya, Sai Baba and Swami Samarth. Will that help me? After Kuldevta, like Sri Gurudev Datta, I am chanting Sai Baba and Swami Samarth. Will that help me for the sadhana? Hello.
Namaskar, Shankarji. Yes, Shankarji, I have heard your question. Mr. Shankarji has asked that he's doing Shri Gurudev the chanting and also besides he's also doing Satya Sai Baba and Swami Samartha Sadhana. So he's asking
Sorry,
that will it...
not Satya Sai Baba.
Sorry.
Sai Baba Shirdi.
Sorry, Shankarji. Shankarji is doing Sai Baba Shirdi Sadhana and Swami Samartha, na, Shankarji?
Yes.
Because our viewers on YouTube are not able to hear sometimes what is happening with the episode, or I was repeating the question. Shankarji, yes, you can go on with the Nam Jap of Sai Baba and Swami Samartha. The question of our faith. So if you have faith on these gurus, these highly revered saints, you can continue your chanting. And besides, you can also continue with Shri Gurudev Datta chant and Kuldevta also.
No, but then is this going to help the sadhana process? Hello.
Hanji Shankarji. Shankarji,
will it help the...
Shankarji, what happens, by doing Shri Gurudev Datta chanting, our ancestral problems, correct? By doing a Kuldevta chanting, we are addressing spirituality, and by doing what you are doing right now, Samarth ji or Sai Baba ji's Nam Jap. So it is because your how is there, your spiritual then. By doing this chanting, your spiritual emotion you help in that. But it is recommended that you can focus on Gurudev Datta and Kuldevta.
Actually, I want to ask you one question. At times I feel insecure. What is the reason for that? I feel something is going to happen and all. What is the reason for that?
Mr. Shankarji has asked that sometimes he feels very insecure. So what is the reason? Shankarji, sometimes there can be many reasons. First is about you see the atmosphere around us, the situation around the world today is such like that many of us they are insecure about the future and all. And some due to negative vibrations, negative energies which are there in environment. So, what you can do is you can pray to God that please let your protective sheet be around me, so that a type of suraksha kavach is created around us. And secondly, you can increase the time of chanting, and also
Okay.
you can also do some spiritual sprinkling gomutra in the vastu. This may also help you. And thirdly is that, sir, if you will joining our third lecture, then we are going to have a topic which is called auto suggestions, personal system, where
Okay.
sometimes feeling uneasiness or feeling fear, we can also remove them by taking help of auto suggestions, which is also very very helpful. So you can
Okay.
please join our third session also.
Yeah, man. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Shang, for your questions. They were very
Thanks.
nice.
Okay.
Namaskar, Kshipraji. Shri Nagaraj has asked, how many minutes or how many hours should we do Kuladevata Japa? Kindly guide us.
Ji, ji. How many hours we should do Kuldevta Jap? Answer a question by Nagar. So it is recommended that we do Kuldevta Jap as it is possible, because this is just like multivitamin. As Bharatji has told about this in the lecture, Kuldevta name is just like multivitamin for us. So you will have thought that how can we chant so much in our busy life? So Bharatji has also told that we can chant while going somewhere, while going to office, while we are cooking our food, while we are bathing, while we are eating. When our physical body is not our mind is mind and intellect are free to think, then we can continuously Shri Kuladevtai Namaha. It is recommended to chant Shri Kuladevtai Namaha more as much as possible. So you can also fix in morning you will chant for 30 minutes. Say you get 30 minutes time for your personal bathing and all. So you will chant continuously Kuldevta name for 30 minutes. And then while you are going to office, it takes you somehow about 1 hour or 30 minutes. Then you can chant there also. While coming back, you can chant. So you can chant as much as possible, sir.
Namaskar. Dhanyavad, Kshipraji. Mr. Nagaraj has thanked you for your guidance. If there are any further questions, our viewers can kindly ask.
Yes, I think Archana was also asking something. Archana, you can ask. In this session, our viewers have asked very nice questions, and they have participated very nicely. Still, if some doubts are still there, then you can please ask. Asking and clearing our doubts are very important in spirituality. You are free to ask.
Namaskar. Viewers in YouTube can also ask any questions if they have any in the chat box. in case you need any guidance, any further guidance on Nam Jap, Kuldevta Jap, or Tata Jap, or if any topic in this session was unclear, you can kindly ask. We can also inform about that.
Namaskar to all. There might be one thing which I want to ask is that sometimes by our intellect might be there, no question may be there, but I want to ask a respected viewer that what you felt about this satsang today. You have given your precious time in the satsang. You have been patiently been all the time in the satsang despite of some interruption also. So what you felt in the satsang, please let us know. It's okay. It's okay. Hi, namaskar to all. In our next lecture of this series, 4th October, it will be from 4 to 5. In this, we will be covering the third part, which is benefits of chanting and importance of satsang. So you are all requested to please join the third part also. In that, we will be coming to know about the satsang and what is the spiritual importance of satsang and many more important topics. So it was a nice participation. Now we shall meet for the next discourse on 24th of October from 4 to 5. In this week, what we can do is we shall to chant the name of our Kuldevta and that of the 3 maximum time. Namaskar. There was a very kind information about this. About that, our next lecture will be only on FCC. It will not be on YouTube. So all our viewers on YouTube are requested to join FCC from the next time. And you can also give your phone number on the chat box of YouTube so that we can contact you and we can give a kind reminder also. So our next discourse will be on 24th and will be on FCC only. So please read.
Namaskar. धन्यवाद शिप्रा जी. To our viewers on YouTube, I would just like to add that FCC is an app called Free Conference Call. We can download the app in the Google Play Store. It's completely free. So once we join through the FCC app, we will be able to communicate with the speakers in the satsang and we can communicate with each other. So it will be much easier to speak in the FCC app. So to join anyone in that app, we will need to send a personal invitation. So we kindly request all our members in YouTube to kindly put your numbers and your names in the YouTube chat box so that we can contact you for further information.
Namaskar to all. It was very nice meeting you all into this discourse. We shall now conclude today's discourse. We shall pray gratitude unto the holy feet of Lord Sri Krishna, Sri Durga Devi, and conclude today. Namaskar to all. Wishing a very happy Navratri and also hoping to see you all in the next discourse. Namaskar.